Hi you guys, welcome back. And of course, if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Tracy Erickson, and in this video, we are going to talk about physiognomy. But specifically, we are going to talk about the markings upon your face, specifically upon your forehead. So stay tuned. Physiognomy is the study of the markings upon one's face. And there is so much that can be revealed about a person just based on where they might have any moles or birthmarks on their face. But there is just so much to the markings on the face that this video will be part one of at least a two-part series all about the markings upon your face. And so in this video, we will be covering the markings that happen to be placed upon your forehead. So this will include any type of birthmark that you might have, a scar, possibly that you have acquired in your life. And it could also represent a mole or a large freckle, just something that stands out as a marking upon your face. And don't worry, even if it's small, this marking could definitely mean something to you. All right, so if you haven't seen my video called More on the Moles, which I made a couple of years ago, but I'll be sure to put a link to that video up above for you in case you're interested in checking that out. But in that video, I introduced you guys to the book Moles or Birthmarks and Their Signification to Man or Woman. And this particular book that I have is a reprint. The original printing was in 1894, I believe. But this is by Maud Wheeler. And Maud Wheeler actually claims in this book that in the 17th century, moles and markings upon the body was actually considered like a science. And there were many people who would read the markings upon the body. And I've always had a very deep interest in this subject. And I've always just had this inner sense of knowing that our outer body is an expression of our inner world. So any type of moles or birthmarks that happen to be placed upon your body can actually be seen similar to constellations in the sky. And those particular constellations can definitely tell you a thing or two about your personality and your life. And the study of moles or birthmarks is no different than that. So as I share with you what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video today, I want you to keep in mind that this is coming from just my interest in all things spiritual. I like to see and find the spiritual significance in all things, including the moles and birthmarks upon our bodies. And so a lot of what I will be discussing has to do with what I've learned and read about in this book, but it is also a lot to do with my own observation and research over the course of the last decade. So not everything that you hear in this video is going to be based on what I learned in this book, but it will be based on my own inner guidance as I was navigating physiognomy in my own life. So let's just start by pointing out the little diagram that is in this book for you that shows the different placements of possible moles or birthmarks upon your face. As you can see in this diagram, it is split in half. We have the right side of your face as well as the left side of your face shown here. And in this video, we are going to really zone into the area of the forehead. So as you look at the area of the forehead, you will see lines going right through the forehead, and it's listed off to the side, line 1, line 2, and so on all the way to line number 7. And each of those lines actually represent a different planet. So let's just go over those lines now. So line 1 can be seen as the line of Saturn. Line number 2 is the line of Jupiter. Line number 3 is the line of Mars. Line number 4 is the line of Apollo. Line number 5 is the line of Venus. Line number 6 is the line of Mercury. And line number 7 is the line of Luna. As I learned about these different lines on the forehead while reading about the moles and birthmarks in that book, it really made me curious because I also have a deep interest in hand reading, or palmistry as it's known, in which I'm also going to be doing a future video all about hand reading, actually a whole series of videos, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, just based on my interest in palm reading as well as the physiognomy of the face, I realized obviously there were some similarities, such as assigning planets to certain lines or areas upon the forehead. So it wasn't really stated in this book to make this connection, but I made the connection that those lines obviously have similar meanings to the similarly assigned lines that are on, showing on your hands. So when it comes to the lines upon the forehead, I have come up with kind of my own cheat sheet, or my way of understanding what a marking in each area might mean. The first line is the line of Saturn. And Saturn is very much connected with the physical existence. So with possessions and, maybe even career or success. So if you're getting a negative read of a mole in the position on the line of Saturn or just below the line of Saturn, then maybe that person is very possessive or very, maybe even greedy, things like that. So the next line is the line of Jupiter. Jupiter is our largest planet. So this one is like in a positive read or positive marking in the line of Jupiter or just below is going to give someone high honors, a high position. It's big, right? So they have a big personality, but more of a negative marking in the position of the line of Jupiter is actually going to maybe be more gluttonous, being as how Jupiter is the largest planet, right? So maybe even unable to let go of things that need to be let go of, things like that. Next, we have the line of Mars, and this line is all about, I feel like this is all about the warrior within you, right? So the moles placed upon this line is going to be all about that warrior within. And basically, are you weak? Are you strong? And your temperament. Really, it has a lot to do with the temperament. Next, we have the line of Apollo, and that is the line of the sun. Now, the line of Apollo is going to have a lot to do with your personality, with your talents, popularity, and all. Basically, the line of Apollo is focusing on how you're putting yourself out there. So depending on positive or negative placements, it's all about really how the rest of the world is seeing you. How are you lighting yourself for others to see? Then we have the line of Venus. And of course, Venus is always connected with romance and love. So any markings on or below the line of Venus could be positively influencing relationships, sociability, and your charm. But a negative marking in the area of Venus could have an opposite effect, where it might be showing that you are not compatible with some others, other people, or that it's possible that a lot of your relationships could just end in tragedy. Then we have the line of Mercury. And I see this one as all about communication between what you're thinking and how it's expressed in the world. So, the line of Mercury is going to have a lot to do with your health, because your health has a lot to do with your thoughts and how it's manifesting in your physical body. So any markings on or below the line of Mercury will say a lot about your health. It'll say a lot about how you are in business, and as well, how you are just in general at communicating with other people. So positively influence markings in the area of the line of Mercury can definitely show a lot of success and good health. Obviously, if you have negative markings in that similar area, then you could have some health issues, illness, or trouble communicating your thoughts or expressing the thoughts that you do have. And finally, we have the line of Luna, which is all about the moon, obviously, Luna. And the moon is all about your inner secrets. So your emotions, your intuition, and how you can actually understand that inner life of yours. So the markings that you may have on your forehead, on or below the line of Luna, will be referring to any secrets in your life, so positive or negative. It could reveal that maybe you are not very honest, but it also could reveal that you are very intuitive and connected with your inner senses. So it all just depends on how you see the markings in these particular areas. And the other thing that you're going to want to look at when you are considering your moles or birthmarks upon your forehead would be the color of the mole itself, or the marking. So if you have moles that appear in the color that are very dark and black, those moles usually are a negative reading of that line. If you have a brown or honey color mole, then that is a general good fortune or positive reading for that area or that line upon your forehead. If you have a red marking or mole, then red is usually a positive reading. It's usually adding a little something to that positive reading. And in some cases, it does denote a bad temperament in the situation. But in many cases, the color red is red, such as the brown or honey color, where it's a very positive read. And then, of course, you have the moles that are raised up on the skin and like kind of bubble off the skin just a little bit. So if the mole or marking is raised, then that is usually a very good omen for that line upon the forehead. So that was just kind of a general overview, how to interpret any markings that you may have just upon your forehead, right? So you would just kind of determine what line or what area of the forehead your marking is on. And then you would look at the colors of that marking to determine that part of the reading as well. Now, when it comes to, reading people's markings or reading their hands or any of this type of work, a lot of it has to do with tapping into your own intuition as well as your own discernment. Because no two markings mean exactly the same thing. So, it's always good to read what other people who practice a similar thing might have realized. But it is always good to keep yourself neutral and open-minded as you are looking into interpretations, because each and every individual obviously has their very own story. So when you are reading the markings upon your friends' foreheads, just be sure to keep an open mind and stay neutral as you make note of anything that you might see there. These lines can definitely give a little insight into your personality, into the person's personality that you're looking at. And it can also determine different areas of life that it might be beneficial to learn a little bit from. All right, so there are just so many different ways that you can use physiognomy in your own life. So tell me how you like to use physiognomy in the comment section down below. And remember to click that notifications bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video, so you don't miss the moles upon the face, which will be part number 2. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. So if you like this video, be sure to click that like button. And of course, if you're a viewer but not yet a subscriber, I would love for you to click subscribe down below. And once you have subscribed, you can click that notifications bell so that you are notified each and every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending your time with me. I love you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.